Okay, so we're going to be writing ratios to represent real world situations. And so it's important to understand that for this we could have what is called a part to part comparison or a part to whole comparison. And so as an example, before we do one of these problems in ALEKS, let's say that we have, I'll use the same example that they're using, we have books on the shelf. And on the shelf we have some math books, we have some English books, and we have some science books. And so let's say that there are 4 math books. For English, there are 7 books, and for science, there are 5 science books. If we wanted to compare math books to science books, that would be a part-to-part comparison because part of the books on the shelf are math, part of the books on the shelf are science. Comparing math to science, we would have 4 math for every 5 science. Similarly, if we were to compare science to English, we would have 5 science to 7 English. And again, we could write these in different ways, like with the colon or with the word to. The most common way we're going to see this, though, is as a fraction. And in this case of this lesson, they're going to use the colon, it looks like, exclusively. So those are the 3 ways we could write those comparisons. These are all what we call part to part comparisons, because we are comparing part of the books on the shelf to another part of the books on the shelf. If we were to do the other type of comparison, which is a part to whole comparison, we could do something like comparing math books to all the books, or English books to all the books, or science books to all the books. And for math, we would end up with 4 books out of, it looks like we've got 16 total books. We could also simplify that to say this is 1 out of 4, so 1 math book for every book on the shelf in total. For English, and again, we could write that as the colon, 1 to 4, or with the word to, 1 to 4. For English, we would have 7 out of 16. We can't simplify that because 7 and 16 don't have any common factors, but we could write that as with the colon, 7 to 16, or with the word to, 7 to 16. And then lastly, with science, we could have 5 out of 16 books on the shelf are science. We can write that with the colon, 5 to 16, or with the word to, 5 to 16. So these down here are all examples of part to whole comparisons because we are comparing one type of book on the shelf to all of the books on the shelf. And so as we read these, the language is going to be important here. We need to be trying to figure out, are we doing a part to part comparison or a part to whole comparison? So there are 5 new books and 9 used books on the shelf. Ratio of all books on the shelf to used books. And so we need all the books first and then the used books second. So altogether there are 14 books. And we're looking to compare that to the used books, so there are 9 used books. And then we're asked, what is the ratio of new books to all the books? And so whatever we read first is the number that goes first. And so new books comes first, all books come second. New books there are 5, all books there are 14. Okay. We have 8 red marbles and 9 blue marbles. What is the ratio of all marbles to blue? So all to blue, all is going to be first, blue is going to be second. 8 plus 9 is 17. And blue, there are 9. Then ratio of all marbles to red marbles. So 17 for all marbles, 8 for red marbles. all books on the shelf to used books. In this one, it looks like there are 19 books. And used books, oh no, wait, it says there are 12 books. So there are 12 total books. Got to be careful when you read these. And 7 are new. So used, if there are 12 total and 7 are new, there must be 5 that are used. Then new books to used books. So we know we have 7 new books. We have 12 total books, so 5 of them must be used. Again, the language and reading these carefully is going to be very important. So there are 7 roses and 6 daisies, and so we have the 2 parts, we don't know the whole. So all the flowers, 7 and 6, is going to make 13. So all flowers to daisies, so 13 is first because all, we see the word all first, and then 6 daisies. All flowers, we see all first. To roses, there are 7 roses, so all flowers first is 13, and there are 7 roses. All right, one more. We have 15 total books on the shelf. 7 of them are new. That means that there must be 8 used books. So used books to all books. Used books goes first. All books come second. We know that there are 15 total. 7 are new. 8 must be used. So 8 to 15. Ratio of new books to used books. And so we know that there are 7 new books. We had 15 total. 8 of them must be used. Okay, that's it for this one.